Most divers won't call a dive when they should. My 13-year-old son did, and it almost cost him his DPV certification. We came to Florida for one reason, to get DPV certified. DiveX sent Gunner a black tip for Christmas, and last year at DEMA, I met Zach with Dive Vibe. We spent some time talking, and it was immediately clear that he was somebody that I wanted to work with. Not just because of his experience, but because of how seriously that he takes training. He agreed to train Gunner and me for our DPV certs, and we built this trip around that. You don't actually need a DPV certification to go buy one and fly around on it, but I wouldn't suggest that you do that. I wanted Gunner to earn this one, and I wanted us both to come out of this as better divers. Looking back, I'm really glad we took the approach that we did, because there are a lot of techniques, habits, and safety considerations that we simply wouldn't have known otherwise. We decided to do the training at Vortex and Morrison just outside of Defuniak Springs in Florida. This is colder water than what we're used to, but what we didn't plan for was the weather. An Arctic blast swept through Florida, dropped the temperatures, and even brought snow with it. The second I saw that forecast, I knew the cold was gonna be a factor. Gunner's cold just diving in the tropics, and with how lean he is, I knew from the start that the water temperature was gonna be a real challenge for him on this trip. When you travel to dive, you picture a lot of things. Snow and freezing rain usually are on that list. Our travel and time spent at the beach in Destin let us know exactly what we were walking into. DiveX didn't send this for Gunner just to rip around on. They sent it knowing that he would take training seriously. DPV training matters even more when you're dealing with a powerful scooter. Speed changes everything. A DPV opens up range and speed in a way that most divers aren't used to, and that's exactly why proper training is important. Small mistakes can compound quickly if you don't know what to watch for, and that's right where Zach came in.
You could literally break something sometimes.
Okay. Zach is the host of the Dive Vibe channel, but more importantly, he's an accomplished cave and rebreather diver and instructor. From the first day I watched him in the water, his patience and control stood out immediately. By the end of that first dive, I knew that we'd made the right decision training with him. Before we ever touched the water, Zach laid everything out. We spent a solid 2 hours on land just going over the black tip, the skills we would be expected to perform, how to properly weight and trim it, and the potential dangers you have to respect when diving a DPV. Even if you think you already know how to dive one, there are so many small details that make this training worth it. Things that you just don't think about until someone with real experience walks you through them. Zach came back to the same fundamentals again and again. Proper trim, buoyancy, situational awareness, controlled movements, throttle discipline. There's a lot of on-site instruction footage here, and I want to let it breathe because this is part a lot of people don't get to see. This is definitely just training. It's not highlight reels. Check this out.
Really good. I do recommend light coat of grease on these, so maybe when you get back home, silicone grease works best, just like your camera stuff. But careful not to use like CNC grease. CNC grease is special. They put something in it to make O-rings expand. So if you put CNC grease on an O-ring, you could literally break something sometimes. Okay. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna take the side of my middle finger and I'm just gonna slide it in. So I'm still going and I hold the grip like that. You wanna try that? All right, so grab it like this. Now double tap. All right, so you're going. Now bring your other hand over here. You're gonna take your middle finger like this and just slide your thumb out of the way. So that slide your thumb back. Yeah, and then you can move your hand out of the way and just kind of grip it. And the easiest part about use is just like what you do with the trigger. So double click to start it, double click to gear up. So watch that. And then fun part, you can actually triple click it to jump straight to speed 6.
Oh.
Or you can go into the app and you can change what speed it'll jump to. It's called jump speed. Cool. This one is not going to be right. I'll call that right off the gate because it's got the lighter batteries, but there is the weight plate in there. So we could get lucky. We'll see. But anyway, at some point, I'll tell you, just like, let go. Let it go and watch what it does. You know, if it sinks, but it sinks uniformly, then you know it's trim, but it's not neutral. If it floats and just stays there, but it goes like this, then it's neutral, but it's not trim. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on control. So you'll see me scooter around, I'll do a circle or something like that, and then I'll have you guys do it, and then I'll show you how to do it with your fins, and then I'll have you guys do it. A lot of this stuff will just be over here going up and down at the surface, talking about it, and then going and doing the skill. So it'll be nice and easy. We're gonna do what I call flying in formation. So you guys either want to be kind of right next to each other, or with one person just a little bit back, but diving so that you can confirm that the person is still there, right? We want to be checking every minute or so to make sure we haven't lost our buddy. And then at the end, we're going to go over to the deeper area, and we'll do a safety stop with the DPVs,
okay.
Which is, it's just a safety stop, but you're holding something. So not super complicated. Actually, not a lot of skills for this course. We'll be done with the course, with all the skills today, so that tomorrow it will not technically be class, so you guys can bring whatever cameras you want.
Gunnar was locked in the entire time. He was focused, attentive, and watching him learn in environments like this is one of my favorite things about doing certifications together. It's a bonding experience, and I love seeing how seriously he takes it. Once we got in the water, the cold hit immediately, even in my 5mm. My computer was reading about 65 degrees, and I could tell that Gunnar was already starting to feel it at the surface. As both his dad and his dive buddy, I watched for small signs like trembling, attention, changes in his breathing. Gunnar always runs a little cold on dives, so I'm always paying attention to those things. As soon as we descended to around 20 feet, I could see it in his eyes. Zach and I were both checking on him and signaling to see if he was okay. I could see the reluctance, but pretty quickly Gunnar thumbed the dive. I knew that he was disappointed because I could see it in him right away. To him, calling a dive is never just about ending one early. I know he feels like he's letting me down, and I know that's a lot of pressure put on him. But it was the right decision, and it showed me that he's mature enough to recognize when something is not right and to stop instead of pushing through it. I don't think most divers do that, and I know that I struggle to do it myself. I usually try to work through whatever is going on underwater, even when I should probably surface and not do that. That's a flaw, and I don't want Gunnar to grow into that diver. I'll be honest though, in that moment, I was disappointed. Not angry and not disappointed at him, but disappointed for him. I knew how much this mattered to him, and I knew that thumbing that dive was gonna be a major hit to his confidence. I also knew how much time and money we had invested in this trip, and I think he did too. After Gunnar was back on land and warming up, Zach and I went back down so that I could complete the skills required for my certification. And Gunnar was absolutely right. This water was cold. But once we got moving, the cold faded into the background. The challenge of learning to manage a larger DPV and dialing in the trim and flying it properly made this one of the most fun training dives I've ever done. When the black tip is set up just right, it should just float there with you when you're not moving. You should barely even notice it. And Dive Extras has put a lot of design into this thing to do just that. And the trigger-based throttle system is simple, it's intuitive, and controlling speed feels natural, like right away. I'm gonna do a full dedicated video breaking down the black tip, its buoyancy, the throttle, accessories you can add to it, and most importantly, the app features. But that's in another video. That night, Gunnar was clearly disappointed, and I was worried about his confidence, and I knew that I had to be careful about how I approached it. Luckily, I had time to think about it underwater, and honestly, freezing my butt off on that dive helped me slow down and kind of put things into perspective. Back at the hotel, I set him down and let him know that I had his back completely, and then I supported his decision without question. You are the most important thing, and I've got your back. Like if you need, if you need to thumb a dive, or if you're not comfortable, or if you don't even want to go on a dive, it's fine. At the same time though, I told him that I wanted him to be resilient, that being tough sometimes means coming back the next day and trying it all over again. I'm not adding any extra pressure on you, but at the same time, I want you to be resilient and tough-minded. The next day, we moved to Morrison Springs. It was even colder that morning, but the second we arrived at Morrison and saw how clear and beautiful it was, I knew Gunnar was gonna be connected to this dive. We also brought a secret weapon this time. We're doing early product testing for the Aquana heated dive vest, and they changed everything. Honestly, without those vests, I don't think Gunnar could have dove the second day either. If you're cold in the water and don't dive a dry suit, these are a game changer. I have a full demo and review video coming up soon, so stay tuned. After the conversation we had the night before, I made a conscious decision to give Gunner his space on this dive. And that's hard to do as his father and his dive buddy. Swimming away from your kid underwater is not an easy thing to do, and I can count on a single hand the amount of times I've done it. But I trust Zach completely. Watching how he handled himself in the water and seeing how much he genuinely cared about Gunner gave me full confidence in him as an instructor. I'm training Gunner to be his own diver, and I want him prepared if something were to happen to me while we were on a dive. That means that he needs dives like this where I'm not right by his side the whole time. From a distance, I watched Gunner complete the skills one after the other, and I could tell he was controlling the black tip well, and Zach was giving him solid instruction. Some of this was definitely self-preservation though, because Zach wanted Gunner to come at him full blast, and then Zach was gonna signal which way he should turn at the last minute, and Gunner had to do a rip turn on the DPV before bulldozing over Zach. You guys check this out here. I was grinning so hard that my regulator was leaking. After the skills were finished, Zach had Gunner follow him around and get real trigger time on the black tip. I could see how proud he was of himself, and I was definitely having a proud dad moment myself. At one point, the three of us were cruising around Morrison on our own DPVs, and looking at this video here, it felt like we were flying around like pilots in formation. It was one of the coolest moments of the trip. This video started as a certification video, then it almost completely derailed. But I'm actually glad that Gunner had to thumb the dive on day one. Not because it makes for a better story, but because of what it did for his confidence. I watched him go from nervous to heartbroken, and then back around to confident and self-assured when he came back and finished strong. Overcoming adversity is probably one of the biggest teachers and confidence builders any diver can have. In the end, we both earned our DPV certs. But more importantly, this trip was another step in Gunner becoming the incredible young man he's growing into. And that's something I'll never get tired of watching. To close this out, I'm gonna start a new end segment where I roll some clips and photos from our trip so that I can share more of what we experienced with you. Let me know what you think about this format in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Mismatched socks on the motel floor, coffee in a paper cup, maps on the door. You're laughing at the way I read the signs, chasing every wrong turn like it's right on time. We got sunburn on the dashboard, windows down, heart sore, still we drive. Every mile writes another bad idea, but it feels like the best days of our life. Yeah, it feels like the best days of our life. Oh yeah. Postcard towns in the rearview frame, faded little diners that all know our names, singing out of tune to the radio fuzz, swearing this is it, whatever it was. We got sunburn on the dashboard, windows down, heart sore, still we drive. Every mile writes another bad idea, but it feels like the best days of our lives. Yeah, it feels like the best days of our lives.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff, and this is Generations Below, and I've got some huge news for you. Generations Below started as a way for me to share my passion for diving with my son Gunner, who we certified at just 12 years old. Watching his transformation underwater changed everything for me, and I fell in love with this sport and what it gives back to people. That's why we founded the NextGen Divers Foundation. Our goal is simple: to give kids access to scuba diving who would never get the chance otherwise. NextGen exists to fund junior diver certifications and their first set of essential gear. Kids can can train with the dive shop they choose and we reimburse the cost. And through our relationship with dive brands and the funding we raise, we will help put them into their first real dive kit. Every diver sees firsthand what our oceans are up against, and every diver, whether they realize it or not, becomes a conservationist. NextGen Divers Foundation is a federally recognized 501c3 and all donations are tax deductible. You can donate once or become a monthly supporter of the cause. If you want to truly impact the next generation of diving, help grow the sport, and protect our oceans and reefs while giving kids something to be proud of, support the NextGen Divers Foundation, donate below, and we'll see you down there.